Caution is out, turn 4. Greg Biffle, Martin Truex, and Jimmy Johnson. Pit road's open, Krista.
Jeff Burton chooses track position, 2 tires for the 31. Matt.
Right side tires, the call also for Casey Kane. Steve.
Matt, Jeff Gordon talking about taking just right side tires. Jamie McMurray in the 1 car says he's starting to get loose. Chassis adjustment in the right rear for Jamie McMurray.
Well, they only had about 20 laps on these tires from that when they all pitted on that first caution. It looked like to me a lot of guys went with just 2 tires, as you see right there.
A lot of guys did, and the one guy that didn't, it's going to really pay the price, is the 88 car of Dale Jr. He took 4, and it is going to put him way back in the field.
Watch the 16 of Greg Biffle at turn 4, and you'll see why this caution is out.
Here's a Biff up here in the 16. You see he gets loose, and he gets the car around. Truex looks like he tries to put the brakes on, maybe locks up the rear tires a little bit. He comes around. Jimmy Johnson in a 48 slams into the 56. I really think the 48 got the worst of this deal.
Yeah, you can see Truex gets loose, and then I think Jimmy Johnson tried to get on the brakes, and his car was a little on the free side as it was, and he just gets into the side of the 56. A lot of damage on the right front of the 48.
Johnson was turning hard when he and Truex made contact, and that bent the steering on the number 48.
Yeah, you can see how he's got the wheels turned right there.
Boy, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was right behind that.
Now watch Jeff Burton in the 31. Whoa, try to turn in with Montoya as they tried to evade Robbie Gordon. And that's because they were coming out of the pits as Gordon was trying to get to his pit stall.
You can't, there's no safe place.
No.
It's just as dangerous in the pits as it is on the track.
Down to Chris Myers for an AT&T race break.
Thanks very much, Mike. And if you tuned in a little bit late, Mother's Day, and the mom said, gentlemen, start your engines. We had no caution in the first 44 laps, sliding into the wall. Then we had 3 cautions in the next 20 laps. And that Darlington stripe driver's earning it, and this is more than a stripe for Jimmy Johnson.
More than a stripe for Jimmy Johnson. Crew tried to make repairs early on.
Came in 10 points out of first place, sliding back just a little bit. And then Joey Logano having trouble maintaining things. And Brian Vickers and Jeff Gordon getting into it here on a restart or after a restart.
Yeah, it's a very close race here. We're always talking about give and take. Well, this time, Jeff Gordon took it from Brian Vickers.
And then the 4th caution, Martin Truex having some problems. Jimmy Johnson already has had a lot of activity tonight. And for a guy who wants to maintain that position at the top of the points, a lot of repair work on this car, but it's a marathon race.
It's a marathon race. That caution was created by this guy right here. Greg Biffle's car got loose. Martin Truex Jr. trying to avoid. Then Jimmy Johnson got caught up in it. He's got heavy damage to the right front of his car. It's going to make for a long night, and a lot of work have to be done on that 48.
5 leaders, 5 different lead changes, and Jamie McMurray has led the most laps, 38. Jeff Gordon right behind, 37. Tony Stewart, we talked about him hitting a bit of a slump. Now he's the leader.
He's the leader right now. I think he's looking for track position. Darian Grubb, they're kind of rolling the dice right now. They were on pit road just a few laps ago, so I think they elected basically to try to stay out and get that track position for them.
And moments before that last caution, we had of the top 7 cars, all 7 different race teams from Earnhardt, Ganassi, Gibbs, Hendrick, Petty, Penske, Childress, and Red Bull. First time that's happened at this point in a race this year. If you want to cast your vote for AT&T, the fastest pit crew of the year, the standings from last week on your AT&T phone, text the number for the crew you think is the fastest to 2258. Delivered by AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. This has been, with Jeff Hamlin, Chris Myers, an AT&T break. Let's go back up to Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
35 cars will restart on the lead lap as Bobby Labonte gets the free pass. Tony Stewart came down pit road with everyone else at lap 85, did not take any tires, so he is the leader with Jamie McMurray. Now, as Stewart has elected the outside of row 1 for the restart, Casey Kane, Jeff Gordon, Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, Montoya and Burton, Kenseth and Newman as we're set for the restart.
This will be interesting. These guys are kind of playing games on this restart right now, inside, outside. I think the outside's the best personally.
Now remember, Tony pitted on that 2nd caution, but he still has a fair amount of laps on those tires.
Under green, Stewart yarded McMurray by a car length and getting into 1. Jamie Mack's all over his bumper with Gordon 3rd and Hamlin.
But when you got that high line, you get that good momentum as you come off of 1 through the middle of 1 and 2 and off down the back straightaway.
It is the leader's choice which lane to restart in. Everybody else then has to line up 2 by 2. McMurray wants the lead back. He's on fresher tires. Here comes Gordon. 3 wide at the line. Stewart leads the lap, and Gordon makes a power move to second. Here's Hamlin on the inside. He wants third from McMurray. He gets it. Matt, what about Tony Stewart's choice of no tires?
Well, Mike, apparently the reason why Tony Stewart got that great track position, congestion on pit road did not allow him to get to his pit box. He just did a drive-by, didn't even stop for fuel or tires, period.
Well, that's going to hurt him as they go on to this run. If nothing else, on fuel, Larry.
Well, he was on pit road at lap 55, so he already has about 35 laps on his tank of fuel right now.
Tony Stewart has won here in what's now the Nationwide Series, NASCAR's AAA Series, as Jeff Gordon wants the lead from Stewart, who slides up in turn 3. Gordon retakes the lead on a track that has been Stewart's Achilles heel in Sprint Cup racing. Prior to tonight, he'd only led a total of 9 career laps here. Sprint brings you an inside look at what's happening now. 112 laps inside the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Jeff Gordon, who is leading this race, has the fastest lap of the race, and Kyle Busch, who started 43rd, is the biggest mover. He has improved 34 positions up to 9th. For more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, and live race radio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed. Here are the drivers who have gained the most positions since the start of this race.
And I'm going to tell you, our leaders right now are running 29 80s and 90s, and Kyle Busch is running 29 60s back there in the 9th spot right now.
Yeah, we dropped off right at a second. And it's, Larry, I was watching the lap times, and it's almost like they flipped the switch. They're running high 28s. All of a sudden, they started running high to middle 29s just in a couple of laps.
Elliott Sadler, 21st in his Ford lead lap car. Up front, Jeff Gordon, 3 seconds on Denny Hamlin right now as he tries to put a lap on Travis Kvapil in the 34. There's a look at the distance. Steve, what was Jamie Mack saying as we went to that commercial?
Yeah, as soon as we hit commercial, Mike, Jamie said to his crew chief, Kevin Mannion, you know, I'm getting a little too loose. And Kevin said, I know, I'm watching you on TV.
Glad to provide a useful service. As he puts a lap on Kevin Conway, who goes 1 lap down.
Whatever he does, a pretty nice run at this point anyway. Led some laps already in the 1 car there, McMurray, and running 3rd right now. And competitive lap times right there with most everybody, looking good. You know, last season was tough for Jamie Mack. He knew it would be his final season with Jack Roush, who had to contract per NASCAR rules from 5 teams to 4. And when Chip Ganassi said, I want him back. I want him back in one of our cars. McMurray responded with a Daytona 500 win and then never let up. He's been strong from the drop of the green flag to start the season. Yeah, he has, and he's just comfortable now. He says he's very happy over there being back at it, kind of like being back at home, and it's really showing. He's doing a great job.
The last time a Roush Fenway car went to victory lane, Jamie McMurray was driving it at Talladega back in the fall. Of course, drove for Chip Ganassi, starting his Cup career, won the Rookie of the Year driving over there.
But, you know, quickly, one thing I think is helping him, and I noted this earlier on in the year, he's getting to run some of the nationwide races. He raced here last night, finished 3rd. I believe that seat time is just helping his confidence. That's really important to him, and it's really paying off.
Kyle Busch in the 18 keeps picking him up and putting him down. He just passes Jeff Burton. That's for 8th place. Remember, Kyle started 43rd.
Now, just in front of Kyle Busch is Tony Stewart in that 14 car. And I got to stress, because they did not get fuel in that car the last stop, Matt, they have to be within about 8 to 10 laps of being forced to come to pit road.
Larry Mack, the clock is ticking. At this juncture, Darian Grubb is going to call Stewart to pit road at lap 125. The crew is readying here in the pit. Tony says the car, although lap times show he is mirroring leader Jeff Gordon's lap times or better, but they're running out of laps before they're going to have to fuel this race car. It's tight on both ends of the racetrack.
Thanks, Matt. So he'll be in 6 laps.